嗨，大家好，我是坦平树。今天是2025年6月8号。这一期咱们继续聊聊马斯克，聊一聊特朗普。特朗普和马斯克的关系可谓是一波三折啊！就在昨天，有媒体说，美国白宫已经安排特朗普和马斯克会面，还是通话。马斯克似乎也要跟特朗普改善关系，甚至马斯克还把他发的一条特朗普跟爱泼斯坦有关的这个帖子影射，他把这个帖子还删掉了。似乎马斯克和特朗普之间隔空骂战降温，双方关系似乎要转好，这个像极了小情侣之间，就像《红楼梦》中的贾宝玉和林黛玉这俩人。结果的新闻，今天媒体报道，这就是突发。当记者问特朗普他与马斯克的关系是否结束时，特朗普说是的，我认为是这样，这是令人痛心的结局，我最不愿意看到。这个不仅如此这个特朗普甚至还要威胁、要挟、警告马斯克。特朗普7日接受美国全国广播公司电话采访时说，他与特斯拉公司首席执行官马斯克的关系已经结束。特朗普同时警告马斯克不要资助民主党，否则将产生严重后果。特朗普的意思就是，你骂归骂，说归说，但是如果你要出手帮我的敌人，帮我的对手，那我就要灭了你。特朗普还指责马斯克不尊重总统，他说，我认为这是一件非常糟糕的事情，因为他非常不尊重人，你不能不尊重总统办公室。这个马斯克怎么不尊重总统办公室了？是因为发帖子吗？还是在总统办公室跟人打架？这个特朗普还说，这个马斯克是顽固的瘾君子，也就是说马斯克吸毒，这意思具体的情况大家可以看一段视频，看看特朗普他是怎么说的。大家看视频。
Mr. President, you posted yesterday that a good way to save money would be to cancel some of Musk's contracts. How seriously are you considering that?
Oh, we'll take a look at everything. I'll look at everything. He's got a lot of money. He gets a lot of subsidy. So we'll take a look at that. Only if it's fair. Only if it's fair for him and for the country. I would certainly think about it. Yeah, but it has to be fair.
And Mr. President, would you consider reopening investigations into his companies? There are a bunch of investigations.
I didn't know that they had any, but, they had them. I would just let them speak for themselves. I had no idea. Excuse me. I have no idea whether or not they had investigations.
And what's your view on Elon Musk as of today? I mean, have you heard from him at all?
Honestly, I've been so busy working on China, working on Russia, working on Iran, working on so many things. I'm not thinking about Elon.
On the China,
I just wish him well. He's
on the China talk, sir. There's a meeting coming up. Secretary Bessent, Secretary Lundin. What do you hope? What do you hope to see from those talks in London, sir?
Oh, we're very far advanced on the China deal. We wanted clarification. We had to have clarification. A little bumpy up here. We had to have clarification, and that's what we're really having the meeting about. We had a very good talk. It's a complicated deal, but it's a deal that's going to bring us a lot of money and a lot of everything else, and with China.
Mr. President, on Mr. Musk's contracts, do you feel like the U.S. can survive without them? Obviously, you contribute a lot when it comes to defense and space, and that relationship has been important for quite some time.
The U.S. can survive without almost anybody.
And
you accept me?
Did you have any concerns about his drug use when he was working for you?
I don't want to comment on his drug use. I don't know. I don't know what his status is. I read an article in the New York Times. I thought frankly, it sounded very unfair to me.
You said earlier today that Mr. Musk had a problem. What did you mean by that? And did you misjudge him by bringing?
I don't want to talk about problems. I think that I think the United States had problems. And if you look at the numbers today, the numbers were unbelievable. The numbers were incredible. The numbers that came up today, the stock market went way up. The country's doing really well. Almost, I think in a very short period of time, you're going to be saying doing better than it's ever done before. We have hundreds of plants coming in, a lot of jobs are being created. That's what happened this morning. You saw the jobs. And the nice part, they're not government jobs. They're jobs of people coming in and doing other things, including the leisure, hotel and leisures. Good stuff. A lot of good things are happening with our country. We're taking in billions of dollars of tariff money. The money is pouring in. And it hasn't even started yet, really, relatively. We're going to have a very successful country very soon. And the stock market is seeing that. We have, and I've been saying it, we have the hottest country anywhere in the world, the hottest country And if you think about it, 6 months ago, we had the coldest country. We had a country that was a disaster. And we've done it very quickly. Okay, go ahead.
Mr. President, on the One Big Beautiful Bill, so your critics, often your critics,
not too many critics, because, honestly, I don't know of anybody that's going to vote against it. Maybe Rand Paul or somebody, but, they always vote against it. But I actually think that over the last 24 hours, it's even solidified. We have tremendous support.
So just the critics that want to talk about the bill, they often fail to mention that your tariffs are actually offsetting a lot, the debt in itself.
Yeah.
I believe the CBO said 2.8 trillion over the next 10 years.
Yeah.
So what would
when he left the White House a key, symbolically to the White House, to the administration at large? I think that's would you like him to give that back?
No, I don't take things back. No,
what about the Tesla?
I gave him a key. He tried very hard. The Tesla, I haven't thought about it.
On his work then, as at this point, for the administration, how do you think his Doge did at the end of the day with the savings that?
Oh, I think it helped us a lot. I think it helped our thinking, and it's not finished at all. We've basically taken it over, and we're doing a job. Many of those people remain with us, and they're going to remain with us. They're very good. It's terrific. We saved, hundreds of billions of dollars. It's terrific, and it's going further. I mean, I'd give you the answer actually at the end of 2 years, because a lot of it is out into the future. But it was a big saving and a good mindset.
And what are you going to do about the Tesla? Are you going to keep it, or are you going to?
I haven't thought about it.
Do you have any plans to contact?
I hope he does well with Tesla.
Do you have any plans to speak with Mr. Musk? This was one of your closest advisors for months.
I don't have any plans. Somebody made a mistake. A lot of reporters have been calling me. I didn't call any reporter. A lot of reporters, they ask me the same question. No, I don't. I'm not even thinking about that.
There apparently were these efforts. This is what I read, to bring you and Elon back together. So those efforts where are they?
No, there are efforts. I mean, I've been asked about it, but I'm not really interested in that. I'm really interested in the country and solving problems, including war problems in very far away.
特朗普说：“我忙着处理各种事务，没空搭理他。越没空搭理他，那马斯克越要撒娇，要耍小脾气。”马斯克的父亲正好在俄罗斯，不知道是参加一个什么论坛。他在俄罗斯接受记者采访的时候说：“马斯克犯了错误，会输给特朗普。”马斯克的父亲从印度跑到俄罗斯去了，这个恐怕也是这个马斯克现在态度有所缓和的一个原因。我在以前节目说过了，这马斯克他毕竟他还有很多东西被特朗普捏着的，因为他特斯拉、他的企业、他的身家都是上市公司，受资本市场波动影响非常大。特朗普一句话，他的特斯拉恐怕就能再跌个10几个点，这个谁受得了？也就是说，马斯克有软肋。马斯克对特朗普真正的反击要等到3年半以后。这3年半之内，马斯克恐怕都是他会吵架，也会这个爆料，但是不会触及特朗普的核心。我们再看看《华盛顿邮报》昨天报道，他说美国总统特朗普的前政治顾问班农最近爆料称，今年4月中旬，美国财长贝森特与时任政府效率部门负责人亿万富翁马斯克在白宫椭圆形办公室外爆发激烈争执，甚至大打出手，发生激烈的肢体冲突。事件的起因是二人向特朗普提交美国国税局代理局长候选人名单时产生分歧，特朗普最终支持了贝森特的人选。报道援引班农的话称，当贝森特与马斯克离开椭圆形办公室后，两人在走廊发生口角，并互相辱骂。贝森特当面指责马斯克是个彻头彻尾的骗子，称其未能履行职务。而情绪激动的马斯克随即像橄榄球运动员一样，用肩膀撞向贝森特的胸口。贝森特当场反击，闪电5连鞭呢，其中有一鞭击中了马斯克的眼睛。说这场肢体冲突直至双方扭打至美国国家安全顾问办公室门口，从这个办公室门口打到那个办公室门口，相当热闹。大家可以脑补一下当时场景，这个贝森特大骂马斯克不讲武德，偷袭我一个老人家，就使出了闪电五连鞭，双方扭打，有没有在地上滚就不知道了。总之打到了安全顾问办公室门口，结果这个时候出来很多工作人员把他两人拉开了。随后马斯克被带离白宫西翼，白宫西边办公室把马斯克带离开了。华盛顿邮报称，特朗普在当时获悉此事后称，这太过分了。在事后，因为2天之后还是3天，特朗普不是为马斯克举办一个欢送会吗？在白宫欢送马斯克 克任满离开白宫。马斯克这个顾问的时间确实比较短，只有4个多月，但顾问不能超过4个月，他有这么一条法律。在那个欢送会上，不就有记者问马斯克，对吧？你眼眶怎么红，怎么黑了呢？马斯克说是我儿子打的。这个时候就好理解了，这叫一语双关。他既回答了记者的这个提问，又掩饰了他的尴尬，又反击了，又骂了贝森特，说贝森特是他儿子打的，儿子打老子，这个比较符合大国咱们这个叫精神胜利法，儿子打老子。贝森特和马斯克之间的矛盾由来已久，他们前面是经历过很多次争吵，大声的辱骂，最后才发展到，对吧？抱以老拳，靠口水战解决不了了，只能靠拳头。美国的媒体4月份还报道过，说2名目击者和3名知情人士向媒体透露，美国政府效率部牵头人马斯克和财政部长贝森特4月17日曾在白宫就美国国税局相关问题爆发激烈争吵，直到爆粗口。而当时美国总统特朗普和到访白宫的意大利总理梅洛尼就在白宫，他们都听到了马斯克的和贝森特的尖叫声。该媒体还说，在特朗普再次当选后的总统权力过渡期间，马斯克和贝森特的关系一开始就不太好，因为马斯克是极力建议主张特朗普任命卢特尼克为财政部长，但特朗普却选择了贝森特，而让卢特尼克当了商务部长。所以说，马斯克和贝森特的糟糕的关系，在这个时候就已经埋下伏笔。贝森特差一点，对吧？财政部长没当成，你说他当了部长之后，他能给马斯克好脸色看吗？我们再看，我一直关心的是万斯在特朗普和马斯克之间，对吧？他会怎么表态？因为马斯克好像力挺万斯，马斯克跟万斯的关系似乎不错。特朗普的小团队里面，除了特朗普之外，唯一能跟马斯克合得来的，好像就是万斯。但是这个万斯现在他已经表态了，他力挺特朗普，他坚决站队特朗普。川普马斯克爆发冲突之后，万斯希望马斯克重回正轨，也就是回头是岸，不要在错误的道路上越走越远。周四特朗普和马斯克两人爆发冲突之后，副总统万斯周六他在媒体上回应说，两人的争端不符合国家利益，希望马斯克能够重回正轨。万斯在周六播出的播客节目采访中说，我是特朗普总统的副总统，我的忠诚永远属于总统，也就是他永远忠于特朗普。这个表态已经明确了。但是万斯后面又来了个小尾巴，他说，我认为马斯克是一位了不起的企业家，他要忠于特朗普，但是他又表扬一下马斯克。这万斯后面又补充到，他说，我希望埃隆，也就是马斯克最终能回归正轨。然后他又补了一句，他说，现在或许不太可能，因为他已经变得如此强硬，但我希望如此。这个万斯嫌这样还不够，继续在这个推特上发文力挺特朗普，称他很自豪能与总统并肩作战，并称赞特朗普为赢得他所领导的运动付出毕生最大努力。当然，万斯也对马斯克给予了理解万斯说，马斯克对政治还不熟悉，所以他的公司不停地受到攻击，他们简直就像在向他的一些汽车投掷燃烧弹一样。万斯说，当然万斯指的是马斯克在效率部所做的工作，一些人心怀不满，针对特斯拉车辆和设施破坏行为。我认为部分原因是这个人涉足政坛，并因此遭受了很多损失。万斯说，我理解他的沮丧，大而美法案是个好法案，但它并非完美无缺，就像华盛顿特区的审批流程一样，如果你是一位商界领袖，你可能会对他感到沮丧，因为他更官僚更慢。我认为他对总统这么做是一个巨大的错误。万斯接着说，我认为如果他和总统闹矛盾，最重要的，这对国家不利，这对马斯克也不好。最后万斯说，我不想透露太多秘密，但特朗普有点沮丧，觉得马斯克的一些批评不公平，但我认为他一直非常克制，因为总统认为他没有必要和马斯克闹矛盾，而且我实际上认为，如果马斯克稍微冷静一下，一切都会好起来。万斯说，总之万斯还是态度不够坚决，忠诚不绝对，那当然就是不忠诚了。他一边认可力挺特朗普，他一边就在安抚马斯克。他说马斯克有权表达自己的看法，但是他又委婉的批评马斯克不应该与特朗普开战。最后针对马斯克的这个离间计，他不是发帖号召弹劾特朗普，让副总统万斯接任总统吗？把万斯扶正，这不是离间计吗？万斯对此评论说，政治就是人们互相背后捅刀子的地方，除非大家团结一致，真正致力于共同完成任务，否则什么也做 不成。总统应该被弹劾的想法，抱歉，这太疯狂了。当然，不光是万斯力挺特朗普不够彻底、不够坚定，批评马斯克也是似乎没有触及马斯克的这个灵魂，象征性的批判了一下。我想起了这个普里戈金造反车臣的总统卡德罗夫，他批评普里戈金是什么？说普里戈金想在圣彼得堡拿一块地搞房地产开发，结果没拿到那块地，所以心生不满。这种批评显然都是想蒙混过关，想掩盖他与普里戈金之间的关系。所以万斯对马斯克的评价，目前看他不想得罪马斯克，他需要马斯克支持他。未来万斯想要做总统，想在美国政坛混，他必须有这种富豪资本支持他、力挺他，所以他不会彻底得罪马斯克。所以他对马斯克那是表面上是批评，实际上是鼓励，他要维系他跟马斯克的关系，同时他也要表现出对特朗普很忠诚，因为这3年半甚至未来几年都需要特朗普的支持，毫无疑问。所以两个他都得罪不起。但是随着特朗普和马斯克之间的关系的变化，如果两个人之间的这个骂战，两个人的攻击升级，万斯想做墙头草，那恐怕弹也受不了，想骑墙光腚骑墙费弹。当然了，也有很多其他的共和党议员趁着马斯克跟特朗普闹翻呢，他们趁机向特朗普表忠心，纷纷站队特朗普。最后我们再看看《纽约时报》他的报道，为什么马斯克败给了贝森特？根据《纽约时报》披露，直接原因是马斯克推荐的 NASA 局长候选人叫埃萨克曼，这个埃萨克曼也是亿万富翁。这个埃萨克曼向民主党捐款的历史被曝光，特朗普在得知其曾向多位著名民主党人捐款后极为不满，并惊讶于幕僚未提前汇报此关键信息。大家知道，这个 NASA 每年250亿美元的预算对 SpaceX 至关重要，而马斯克曾亲自游说特朗普促成此事。如今，对吧？这个人选的提名撤回，意味着马斯克派系彻底丧失对航天决策权的掌控。白宫总统人事办公室主任戈尔与贝森特形成同盟，积极推动撤回埃萨克曼提名。贝森特利用财政审查权限，以忠诚度不足为由，将埃萨克曼的捐款记录作为致命武器提交给特朗普，直接促成清洗成功。马斯克用29亿美元买到的白宫通行证，终究抵不过贝森特们抽屉里一页捐款记录的杀伤力。可见这个马斯克花了那么多钱进入白宫，那也是符合人为财死，鸟为食亡这个真理。最后我们再看一下，俄罗斯称愿给予马斯克政治庇护。俄罗斯官员说愿给马斯克提供政治庇护。据美国新闻周刊6月6日报道，一名俄罗斯官员表示，该国愿意向美国亿万富翁马斯克提供政治庇护。俄国家杜马国际事务委员会第一副主席德米特里·诺维科夫向俄官方通讯社塔斯社发表了上述言论。我认为马斯克在下一盘大棋，所以他不需要任何政治庇护。不过如果他有需要，俄罗斯当然可以提供。对特朗普来说，马斯克就是一个工具，工具用完了只能放一边，甚至扔掉。如果需要的时候，恐怕又要找回来再用一下，这个不用怀疑。如果这个工具坏了，他就扔掉。马斯克在特朗普那儿彻头彻尾的就是一个工具人。关于马斯克和特朗普之间的关系的变化，咱们继续关注。好，这期节目我们就聊到这里，感谢大家收看。如果喜欢我的节目，欢迎订阅转发，也可以在下方留言评论，谢谢大家。